America's Rivers, a catastrophic confluence of deregulation and disaster. A chilling new report paints a grim picture of America's rivers, revealing a catastrophic convergence of factors threatening the nation's water resources and the millions who depend on them. At the heart of this crisis lies the Trump administration's relentless assault on environmental regulations, coupled with the explosive growth of water-intensive industries. The consequences are stark and far-reaching, jeopardizing not only the ecological integrity of these vital waterways, but also the livelihoods and well-being of countless communities. The Mississippi, a lifeline under siege. The report, compiled by American Rivers, highlights the perilous state of the nation's rivers, placing the mighty Mississippi River at the forefront of its concerns. This 2,320-mile artery, a lifeline for over 50 municipalities, faces a confluence of threats that are exponentially amplified by the administration's policies. The long-standing challenges chemical runoff, leading to toxic algae blooms and hypoxic dead zones in the Gulf of Mexico, sea level rise, accelerating wetland loss and saltwater intrusion, and intermittent droughts, are now exacerbated by the weakening of federal safeguards. The Trump administration's drastic cuts to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, coupled with persistent calls for its complete abolition and the dismantling of the National Flood Insurance Program, pose an existential threat to the Mississippi River and its vast 30-million-acre floodplain. This crucial ecosystem supports almost 900 species of fish and wildlife, a biodiversity now hanging precariously in the balance. Southern Appalachia, a scarred landscape. The devastation wrought by Hurricane Helene, a Category 4 storm that unleashed record rainfall and 100 mph winds, further underscores the vulnerability of America's rivers. The storm's impact on southern Appalachia was catastrophic, resulting in the failure or severe damage of at least 44 dams in the French Broad watershed, including those on the Nolichucky, Watauga, and Pigeon rivers. The resulting destruction of wastewater infrastructure, the surge of debris and pollution into waterways, the reshaping of river valleys, and the obliteration of sensitive fish and wildlife habitats represent a colossal environmental tragedy. The gutting of FEMA's resources severely hampers the region's ability to recover from this devastation, leaving communities exposed and vulnerable to future extreme weather events. Aaron McCombs, Southeast Conservation Director for American Rivers, emphasizes the urgency of the situation. Our rivers are in a sensitive state and communities are still at risk. We must protect homes and businesses from crumbling, unsafe dams. Funding dam removal and river restoration is urgent to ensure public safety before the next storm. The collective impact of these disasters has placed the rivers of southern Appalachia third on the 2025 list of endangered rivers, a stark testament to the escalating crisis. Data centers, a thirst for water, a threat to rivers asterisk. The report also shines a harsh light on the burgeoning data center industry, particularly in Virginia, the world's largest hub for these massive data processing facilities. These facilities are incredibly water-intensive, and their unchecked proliferation, fueled by regulatory rollbacks and subsidies from the Trump administration, is placing immense strain on local water resources, particularly the Rappahannock River. Ranked 6th on this year's list, the Rappahannock River, a 195-mile waterway flowing from the Blue Ridge Mountains to Chesapeake Bay, is already struggling under the pressure of population growth and overuse, exacerbated by declining groundwater levels and drought conditions. The further expansion of data centers will undoubtedly amplify these stresses, pushing the Rappahannock and its ecosystem to the brink. Fossil fuels, a legacy of pollution and destruction. The Trump administration's unwavering support for the fossil fuel industry, particularly coal, adds another layer of complexity to the crisis. The report cites the devastating impact of coal mining on the Cherry River in West Virginia, part of the Gauley River watershed, 10th in this year's rankings. A lack of enforcement has allowed a strip mining company to repeatedly violate water pollution and mine cleanup standards, a pattern that is likely to worsen given the administration's push to further weaken environmental regulations. The company, already facing a lawsuit for dumping dangerous levels of heavy metals and sludge into the Cherry River, declared bankruptcy in February, a testament to the unsustainable nature of this industry and its devastating environmental consequences. Trump's executive orders aimed at reviving the coal industry, coupled with his efforts to facilitate oil and gas expansion, are viewed by critics as a blatant quid pro quo, a clear indication of the undue influence exerted by the fossil fuel industry on policy decisions. Analysis suggests that Big Oil poured $445 million into the last election cycle to influence Trump and Congress, including a substantial $96 million investment in Trump's re-election campaign and affiliated political action committees. This blatant exertion of influence underscores the deep-seated conflict of interest at play, prioritizing short-term economic gains over long-term environmental sustainability. A nation's rivers at risk asterisk. The report concludes with a sobering assessment of the future for America's rivers, emphasizing that the Trump administration's pro-industry, anti-environment agenda exacerbates the existing threats to these vital waterways. Rivers like the Tijuana River, California, Mexico, the Passaic River, New Jersey, the Lower Rio Grande, Texas, the Susitna River, Arkansas, the Calcasieu River, Louisiana, and the Clearwater River Basin, Idaho, all face an increasingly uncertain future, burdened by a legacy of deregulation and environmental neglect. The consequences of inaction are catastrophic. The report serves as a stark warning, a call to action to protect America's rivers before it's too late, before the cumulative effects of deregulation, climate change, and industrial overreach irrevocably damage these precious resources and the communities that depend on them. The future of America's rivers, and the future of the nation itself, hangs precariously in the balance.